Hello, everybody. I hope you're all okay. Now we are going to make a revision of present deductions, actually. As you know, in our previous lessons, we did some of the exercises on present deductions. Just let's remember this fact. When we make deductions, we use the models given below like must, may, could, might, can't, couldn't, may not, and might not. So when we make positive deductions, we use them like must, may, could, and might. In negative deductions, we use can't, couldn't, may not, might not. And here we see everything about making positive and negative deductions. In positive deductions, when we want to make strong deductions, we just use must. And when we want to make a weak deductions, we use could, may, or might. Uh-huh. And the same goes for negative deductions. When we want to make strong negative deductions, we use can't or couldn't. And when we want to make weak deductions, this time we use may not or might not. So there is another point we need to think about is when we make a present simple deductions after the model, we need to use the present form of the verb one. And when making a present continuous deduction after the modal, this time we need to use be and verb ing form. Let's have a look at two examples given below. Okay, those group of people must come from Turkey as they are carrying a Turkish flag. So this shows us that it is a strong positive deductions when we look at this clue. Because they are carrying a Turkish flag, we should make a strong deduction. Those group of people must come from Turkey. In the second example, we are this time making a present continuous deduction, and it is not a strong one, but a weak one. It says, Yas could be playing a computer game at the moment. He just told me that he didn't want to study anymore and that he wanted to rest and entertain himself. So let's just remember how far we could get, with making such deductions. Make either present simple or present continuous deductions using the correct model and the correct form of the verbs given in parentheses. So in the first question, okay, we see that Mr. Itar loves Pink Floyd a lot. Okay. How do we know that he loves Pink Floyd a lot? Because he's got all of their CDs and even singles. So, what kind of deduction or speculation can we make on Mr. Itar's love for Pink Floyd? A strong one, most probably, right? Because he has got all of their CDs and even singles. So a present strong deduction. There is a conversation in the second question, and the first person asks, where do you think this couple comes from? As you can see, the options, the alternatives for them to come from are more than two. So we need to make a present speculation deduction again. It should be a weak one. In the third conversation, it says, hey, have a look. Isn't that Defne Doğan walking along Turgut Özal Avenue? Have a look. Well, gives us a clue that this should be a present continuous deduction. Okay? And how sure are we here? You need to have a look at it. Okay? See, two options. In the fourth, it says, please don't make so much noise. Eda is studying in her room at the moment. So it should be a present continuous deduction. And this gives us the right clue, impossible. So it should be a present continuous negative deduction, and in it we should make a strong one, I guess. In this conversation, the first speaker says, I think Ethan is studying English in his room right now. Who knows? This makes it a weak deduction, actually, and it should be, in a negative sense and present continuous at the same time. So present continuous, negative, weak deduction. Maybe he's not studying the cause. This time, in this conversation, the first person asks, where are Gülin and Shuanaz? Where are they? Well, the question is being asked at the moment, so we need to make a present continuous deduction. Okay, so because they have got a very important exam in 2 hours. Okay, so where are Gülin and Shuanaz? Well, we need to do this. Have a look at the key. Make either present simple or present continuous deductions using the correct model and the correct form of the verbs given in parentheses. So, as I said at the very beginning of the exercise, it must be a positive, strong deduction. Mr. Itar must love Pink Floyd a lot, as he has got all of their CDs and even singles. The second says, where do you think this couple comes from? They may come from Bulgaria or Russia, or even from Poland, as they speak a sort of different Slavic language. The third one goes, hey, have a look. Isn't that Defne Doğan walking along the Turgut Özal Avenue? Where might she be going? Where could she be going? Okay, where may she be going? And the answer should be, I'm not sure, but she could be going to the movies or shopping. Remember, it is a weak, positive, present continuous deduction. Okay? Please don't make so much noise. Eda is studying in her room at the moment. Impossible. She couldn't be studying, or she can be studying there now. I just saw her in the park chatting with her school friends. The fifth conversation goes, I think Yitan is studying English in his room right now. A present continuous sentence. Who knows? He might not be studying. There is music coming from his room. Where are Gülin and Shuanaz at the moment? Again, present continuous. Watch out. They must be studying in the library because they've got a very important exam in 2 hours. The new point for us, when we make a past simple deduction, we should follow the rule given below. After the model, we need to use have and past participle of the verb 3. Okay? I can't find my car's keys. We say, I'm sure that you left it in your office, it should be a strong deduction. So you must have left it in your office. And for past continuous deduction, after the modal, this time we have to use have been verb ing. Let's have a look at the example given here. Mrs. Clinton can't have been driving very fast at the time of the accident because I know that she never likes driving fast. So I'm sure she wasn't driving fast. It is a strong deduction and past continuous. Let's have a look at exercise 2. Make a suitable past deduction, paying attention to the information given in parentheses and the tense of the verbs used as well. The first conversation goes, the first speaker says, I believe I saw Mr. Aytar in Karataş the other day. Past. The verb is past here. So we need to make a past deduction, okay? Are we sure about this? Okay, well, it says here, because he hasn't left home since March 14th. So we need to make a deduction, a strong deductions in the negative sense. The second one says, when I went home last night, the lights in my son's room were still on. As I was very tired, I didn't want to go there to see what he was doing. However, so a weak deduction about past continuous, huh? Well, the third one goes, while I was getting ready to sleep the other night, I heard some noises coming from my son's room. And the best explanation is, I'm sure he wasn't sleeping. I'm sure. So we have to make a strong deduction, a strong negative deduction in the past continuous. Last night, when I was about to fall asleep, I heard a noise coming from the kitchen. Now I wonder who did it. So when you wonder who did something, when you wonder about something, this shows that you're not sure about it. So it should not be a strong deduction, okay? And mind you, it is talking about past tense. The fifth one goes with the first speaker. Why do you think Elise got a bad mark from the last test? She got a bad mark from the last tense, past tense, right? Normally she is pretty good. And you're not sure about it. See, I don't know actually. She blah, 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 enough time to study. So past deduction, not a strong one, a weak one, okay? And it is about past. Let's have a look at the key. The first one says, I believe I saw Mr. Aytar in Karataş the other day. No, you can't have seen him there, or you couldn't have seen him there as he hasn't left home since March 14th, 2020. Okay? Can't have seen or couldn't have seen. They are the same as you know. When I went home last night, the lights in my son's room were still on. As I was very tired, I didn't want to go there to see what he was doing. However, he might have been reading a book, watching a movie on his tablet, or even studying. And in the third question, while I was getting ready to sleep the other night, I heard some noises coming from my son's room. I'm sure he wasn't sleeping. So again, it is a strong deduction in the negative sense about past continuous. He couldn't have been sleeping at the time he can't have been sleeping at the time. It's possible too. 4 says, last night when I was about to fall asleep, I heard a noise coming from the kitchen. Now I wonder who did it. It could have been, it may have been, it might have been the neighbor's cat or my son, who now and then wakes up in the middle of the night to drink some water. And finally, why do you think Elias got a bad mark from the last test? Normally, she's pretty good. I don't know actually. She may not, or she might not have had enough time to study. It is maybe. Exercise number 3. It is again about deductions. Okay? Can you rewrite the following sentences using the correct modal and tense? Okay? It says, I'm sure my parents work hard all the time to be able to look after us successfully. Strong deduction. Can you see it? And it is a present simple deduction. We wonder who killed the cat of the neighbor. We wonder. So it suggests a weak deduction, but in the past simple. People believe Mr. Erdogan donated all his salaries to the people in need. This suggests a weak deduction, and this suggests that it must be in the past. Past simple weak deduction. 4 says, I suppose my mother isn't sleeping now. A weak deductions, when you say I suppose, I think, I believe, it suggests that it should be a weak deduction. Isn't sleeping, it is present continuous. Negative deduction. Number 5 says, I'm positive. When you say I'm positive, you need to make a strong deduction that nurses and doctors don't have enough time to rest well. They don't have present simple negative 1. Mind you, it is negative. In the 6th one, people are sure that Einstein worked hard for the humanity. So it must be a very strong deduction about past. 7, people believe that those soldiers were not sleeping when the explosion took place. Past continuous, a negative past continuous sentence, and it should be a weak deductions because people believe, people think. Okay. I don't know if doctors found a cure for the coronavirus. Okay. It suggests that we need to make a weak deductions, and it should be about past. So it can be positive and negative too. Let's have a look at the key here. I'm sure my parents work hard all the time to be able to look after us successfully. My parents must work. Okay, mind you, this is a speculation. You're making a deduction. My parents must work hard all the time to look after us. We wonder who killed the cat of the neighbor. We're not sure about it. Who might, who could, who may have killed the cat of the neighbor? People believe Mr. Erdogan donated all his salaries to the people in need. Mr. Erdogan might, could, may have donated all his salaries to the people in need. I suppose my mother isn't sleeping now. My mother may not be sleeping now or might not be sleeping now. I'm positive that nurses and doctors don't have enough time to rest well. Nurses and doctors couldn't have or can't have enough time to rest well. It is present simple, do not forget. People are sure that Einstein worked hard for the humanity. Einstein must have worked hard for the humanity. 7 says, people believe that those soldiers were not sleeping when the explosion happened. So those soldiers might not have been sleeping when the explosion happened. And in the final question, I don't know if doctors found a cure for the coronavirus. Doctors may have found a cure for the coronavirus, could have found a cure for the coronavirus, might have found a cure for the coronavirus, or they may not have found a cure. They might not have found a cure for the coronavirus. Okay? Another point, okay, but this time it is not about speculations, it is about necessity. And that is should have verb 3. Should have verb 3 is used to say that it was necessary for someone to do a certain action, but unfortunately it still wasn't done. Let's have a look at the example. You should have studied well for the finals last year, but you didn't. As a result of this, you failed. It means, although it was necessary for you to study well for the exam last year, you didn't study. You didn't do so. Shouldn't have verb 3 is used to say that it wasn't necessary for someone to do a certain action, but it still was done. Like the example here, you shouldn't have stayed up so late last night. You shouldn't have stayed up so late last night, but you did. You stayed up late. That's why you are late for your math exam now. It wasn't necessary for you to stay up so late last night. Now you are late for your exam. Can you try and answer these questions? Can you write replies to the statements below using should have verb 3 or shouldn't have verb 3? See, your friend says to you, I didn't have breakfast in the morning. Now I feel hungry. What was necessary for him to do? Can you please write it here? In the second one, this time your friend says to you that I worked hard. I worked nonstop for 12 hours and now I feel exhausted. So, what was necessary for him to do? Can you state it here? In the third one, this time your friend tells you, your friends actually, we didn't get up early. As a result of this, we missed the school bus. Okay, what was necessary for you to do? Can you write it here, please? The key says, I didn't have breakfast in the morning. Now I feel hungry. So, what should you have done? You should have had your breakfast. You shouldn't have missed it, huh? I worked nonstop for 12 hours. Now I feel exhausted. It is quite natural that you feel exhausted now because you worked nonstop for 12 hours. What should you have done? You should have taken some breaks, of course. We didn't get up early. As a result, we missed the school bus. What should you have done? You should have got up or gotten up early. We never concentrated on our lessons before the corona break. That's why we feel bad now. So tell me what you needed to do then. what was necessary for you to do then, before the corona break. In the fifth, your friend says to you, my uncle smoked 2 packets of cigarettes a day before he died from lung cancer. What was necessary for your friend's uncle not to do? You can easily say it here. And the sixth one says, Jack lied to me and broke my heart terribly. Okay? What was necessary for Jack to do, actually, or not to do? Okay? Let's have a look at the key. Okay? We never concentrated on our lessons before the corona break. That's why we feel bad now. So you shouldn't have done so. You should have concentrated on your lessons, actually. My uncle smoked 2 packets of cigarettes a day before he died from lung cancer. He shouldn't have smoked at all, or he should have stopped. Number 6 says, finally, Jack lied to me and broke my heart terribly. He shouldn't have lied to you. He should have told you the truth, actually. People, thanks a lot for listening.